Don't overthink
Why you,
Sneaky.
That's my guy.
Oh, boy.
Okay.
All right, listen. I got to go back to you here because you have Lewis, your top five.
I never get the basketball one. I never get the basketball one.
Oh my goodness. Okay,
Give it to us. Give us your list.
Oh, okay.
Top five. Biggest off-season.
What was my first one?
No, start five.
Here it is. I'm still thinking about that.
Yes.
Okay. What does Kansas City do to fix offensive line? This is going to be Brett Veach's number one priority. I promise you, as soon as this Super Bowl was over, just like back in the 20 season when they lost to Tampa, down in Tampa, and Patrick got brutalized, on the plane ride home, Brett was thinking, how can I fix this offensive line? In particular, at offensive tackle. He has to shore up the edges because it is something that you saw just is not tenable in the way it's currently constructed. Kansas City will be back. Patrick Mahomes will be back. They are going to be on a mission, and Brett Veach is getting to work right now.
Joe Tooney needs to be back at guard. That'd be nice.
Yeah.
What do you think?
No, I think when you look at, you saw Patrick running for his life. And in the Super Bowl, whenever he's been under duress, it never works out. So 100%.
Okay, give us another storyline, number 4.
Okay, now the next one for me is, look, where will Myles Garrett be in Cleveland or will he not be? Will he be someone who actually is moved? Will Andrew Berry come off of that declaration that, look, I'm not trading him, because you don't trade franchise pass rushers. You don't trade one of the greatest athletes in the history of the game. And Myles Garrett is that. He's one of the greatest athletes in the great history of the NFL and one of the most productive athletes in the history of the NFL. So this is going to be interesting to me because this doesn't sound like Myles is angling for any kind of leverage in terms of a new contract. This is not money driven. This is a guy who really does care about his legacy in the game, and he wants to be with a winner. So we'll see what happens.
Okay, take me to your next storyline.
Now, the next one really is about Justin Fields and whether or not he's going to be back in Pittsburgh as the starter and whether or not they commit to him in that way, or does he actually hit the free agent market and be someone else's chess piece. Look, I believe that right now, that if Arthur Smith had his choice, and this is just me talking, I haven't talked to Arthur about this, although I know how he feels about Justin Fields. I believe that they would love to work with him and see if they can take his game to the next level as far as being a pocket passer and continuing to develop that. Because, look, I don't think a player's ability to develop as a pocket passer ever ends. You're always gaining knowledge. You're always evolving your game. Justin's still evolving his game. I'm just wondering whether or not Pittsburgh looks at it the same way.
Can they afford to keep waiting, right?
That's
that's
true
the
too.
problem with it. Sometimes with a young player is that you keep waiting for it to a point where then it's too late. And that's something they have to worry about because you can't keep kicking the can down the road with some players.
What's the next storyline?
I think here now, what does Washington do? What does Adam Peters do to kind of take it to the next level in Washington for Jaden Daniels? Because we saw this, and we saw it early on, that Jaden Daniels is the future of this league. Jaden Daniels may be singularly the most exciting player in the NFL at the most important position. And I know that sounds like, hey, you're just trying to make a headline, grabbing statement. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me there's any player at that position who excites you more than this guy as far as how young he is, how veterans gravitate towards him, and how he plays the game in every facet the way you want it played. In every single facet, they need to give him some more weapons on the perimeter, maybe one more. I saw some people talking about, hey, would you like to see T. Higgins in Washington? Return to McLaurin?
Yes.
But make sure this offensive line is straight. Get a game-changing running back for him. Make sure the secondary is straight. Jaden Daniels, he's going to blow it up again next year.
Let me tell you, been covering this kid since his introductory presser, was there when he beat Detroit in Detroit. This kid is the truth. And from day one, listen, credit to Dan Quinn, Adam Peters for building the culture, putting good pieces around him. With the money they have and the vision, this team is going to be even better.
Okay, so your final question.
Come on, Lewis. Let's go. Final answer.
Matthew Stafford, where does he end up? Does he actually get a restructured deal out there in Los Angeles, or does Matthew Stafford hit the road? And where does he go? Because if he actually is on the trade market, every single team that needs a quarterback should be looking at Matthew Stafford. This guy's one of the greatest passers in the history of the NFL, one of the most talented pure throwers of the foot. Matthew Stafford was throwing no-look passes before Patrick Mahomes made it popular. He was doing it in Detroit when he had no help. Yeah, I know he had Megatron. I get it. He had no run game, spotty pass protection, no defense. And this guy was tearing it up then. If he is actually on the trade market, if you're a team like the New York Giants, like the New York Jets, as you suggested, and you really do think, hey, we are truly, not in our dreams, but truly a quarterback away, you sell out to get this guy. This guy is you've seen how Sean McVay talks about it. You think Sean McVay really wants to trade Matthew Stafford at this point? Heck
Because
no.
the options beyond Matt Stafford and free agency are not good.
Should it be
Just look at
more?
should there be 1,000%? Because if you're telling me I could have Matt Stafford or Aaron Rodgers or Sam Darnold or Kirk Cousins, I'm going to say, okay, clearly Matt Stafford. Just look at that Eagles game in the playoffs, in the snow. Look how Matt Stafford played. They almost beat the Eagles. So they should really try to run it back with this team. But if you can get him, get him.
This shows you the game that he played against Philadelphia in that weather shows you that he can play in the Northeast, and that's why, like I said, start spreading the news. Both of those New York teams have to consider, what are you going to do with a draft pick? You're going to trade up for a rookie quarterback and start over again, or can you use your draft assets to get a guy that steps in, changes your culture, is that leader you need, and also advances your offense? Jets, in their situation, they're moving on from Aaron Rodgers, but you saw that things started to click. What you didn't want to deal with was the other stuff of Aaron Rodgers.
They got pieces.
Matthew Stafford plays at a higher level and doesn't bring all that stuff.
Yes.
If you're the Jets, it's something you've got to strongly think about for Aaron Glenn.
You know how excitable Sean McVay can be, right? And so he's generally a positive person anyway. But he's also a very honest person when it comes to assessing football players. I have never seen somebody's face light up and their pulse, like kind of, you could see it quickening in his body with the way he was talking, the way he talks about Matthew Stafford. He said, this guy is a bleeping star. He's just flat out a star. I have so much respect for this guy, dating back to his days in Detroit. I'm telling you, if you're a quarterback needy team and he actually hits the market.
That's how we talk about Allen. Yeah.
Go get him.
Alan Hahn right there. Trivia master.
How about our star?
Okay.
How about our star? Because you put a list together as well.
Lewis, that was cute and all, your little list right there. But you missed the biggest question of the offseason. Cindy! There we go.
Is this E30? What is
this? This is E30.
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 Okay. All right.
Number 5. Will Aaron Rodgers find a new team? Because we're talking about a future Hall of Famer. Where is he going to go? There are only so many chairs, musical chairs. Where is he going to go? Who will be the next Jets quarterback? I want to know. Aaron Glenn said, no, I don't want that Aaron. It's all about me. Okay, is Woody Johnson going to give Aaron Glenn and their new GM the patience needed to build this team the right way? I hope so. For your sake, Alan, I really do. Now, you mentioned the Commanders. Deebo Samuel's out there. Last year it was like, oh, could Brandon Ayuk? He clearly wants to go to Washington, we thought. Now I think Deebo wants to get traded. I think adding another piece is clear. And obviously Myles Garrett, Andrew Berry. You got to come correct if you're going to try to steal Myles Garrett from the Browns. And obviously my number 1, the Bengals. A lot of pressure on Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow has said, we need those guys. So if you're the Bengals, you got to do whatever you can to keep that team intact because your quarterback said
cash spend. It's not a cap situation thing. It's a cash issue. You know, you talk to any salary cap manager. Salary cap managers are really smart dudes. They can always figure out a way to keep pushing things out and to make it work if you really want to make it work.
Yeah.
If
owners can be reluctant to spend cash because that's money out of my pocket.
Spend cash on offense or defense?
Well, here, I mean, look, what Joe Burrow is saying right now is, look, I need my guys. And I need Trey Hendrickson as well, who's a defensive player. Spend the money.
It's very clear. It's very clear. You saw the figures from Philadelphia. You saw what Jeffrey Lurie has pumped out to his football team. That's cold, hard cash.
When does he become the guy that we start talking about wanting to play somewhere else?
Listen, if they don't listen to him, he's going to get disgruntled very soon. Wow. And that's a problem.
Indeed. That's a very big problem, considering the season he had last year. All right, don't forget, First Take comes your
How's it going, everybody? Villa Sports Network here. Just want to thank you guys for your support on the channel. Thank you guys for watching the video. Hope you all enjoyed it. Also want to kind of remind you to don't forget to leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment on the video if you like as well. But regardless of the fact, thank you again for your support, and hope to see you on the next video.